2,000 years later.
Fuck you, bitch! I threw that shit the other way! Fuck you! We're out of here, bitch! We're out of here, bitch!
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm playing the Finals Open Beta. The last time I played the Finals was during the closed beta, which I believe was back in March, and let's just say I was not impressed. But my chat flooded today with play the Finals, and honestly, I didn't even know the Finals Open Beta was today, but apparently it's going on until, I believe, early November. So I decided to jump on it, and to be completely transparent, I totally forgot about this game's entire existence. So I watched my old Finals video to get my impressions back, and like I said, I wasn't impressed, but this time around, I wouldn't say I'm impressed, but it's definitely better than the closed beta. So without further ado, let's jump into my thoughts about the Finals Open Beta, whether or not I think you should try the game, and whether or not I think this game has a future whatsoever. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for smashing pretty much this entire month. You guys are nuts this whole month, so thank you so much for all the support. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out my new mouse pads that I just released. They are big old desk pads, and they have awesome, unique designs on them. Be sure to use code ENDERS for 10% off if you're interested. Link is in the description. So, with the Finals Open Beta compared to the closed beta, I watched my video about the closed beta, and I was complaining about movement delay and the mouse feeling a little laggy, and generally the game just ran pretty terribly. But I am happy to report, in the open beta, the movement delay seems to have been addressed significantly, to the point where I didn't even remember that it was a problem until someone in my Twitch chat asked me, is the movement delay fixed? And I was like, oh wait, that was a problem in the closed beta. Now, in terms of how fun the game is, or just how the game plays, if you haven't seen this game before, this game is a bit of a weird mix of things. You are essentially playing as a team of 3 contestants pit up against other teams of 3, and there are multiple different game modes, but it generally revolves around getting cash and then extracting that cash to essentially increase your team's score. A team with the highest amount of cash wins. In order to extract the cash, you do have to go through a bit of a lengthy extraction process, and when you pick up cash to go extract, every single other team in the map can see you running with it, and they can see the extract point. So typically there are really long fights over the cash extracts. You can steal other people's cash extracts for your own team. And this game's big gimmick, because it was made by ex-DICE developers, or at least some are working on it, basically, you can just take down entire buildings, you can blow up floors, you can blow up the whole buildings of glass and walls and staircases and zip lines and everything. So I definitely think once people catch on, you're going to be playing in a mostly destroyed environment. Now, watching the background footage, you might notice that the time to kill in this game is pretty damn long if you're not fighting the lower HP characters, like the medic or the light character, which only has 150 health. This game absolutely rewards good aim, and it rewards consistent headshots. I briefly mentioned the different classes in the game. There are 3 types of HP characters you can play. There's the heavy build, there's the medium build, then there's the light build. The light build has more, obviously, CQC weapons. There's some really annoying melee weapons for the light characters that I actually think are overpowered if played correctly. Then, of course, you have a submachine gun and multiple other things on offer. I believe you can also select a pistol and I think a couple other things. The medium character has a Scar-looking weapon, an AK. Her ability is a healing beam, and all of these classes can switch between a bunch of different gadgets like goo grenades, which I think is a bit funny, that can build cover for you. And another version of a grenade, which I'm using in the background, is called the sonar grenade, and that allows you to see people through walls and get their locations. And then the heavy build has this charge ability, which allows you to deal damage to people and knock people around. And he has a big old health pool and a big old machine gun. But he moves, of course, very slowly. So pretty classic balance here on display in terms of the HP values and the movement speeds between the classes. Obviously, the light character is going to be the fastest with the lowest amount of health, kind of like the Scout in Team Fortress 2. Then it goes all the way up to the heavy, which has the big old guns and the RPGs and is slow and can't really maneuver that well. So in terms of my enjoyment, I actually enjoyed playing this game quite a bit today, but there's always this thing in the back of my head where I look at this game and I just don't know if anybody is going to play this game for an extended period of time. Something about this game just tells me that it's going to become one of those niche community games that kind of dips off real fast and sustains a small community that is really heavily focused on competition with a small player base of casual players. Something very similar happened with a game called Gundam Evolution, which released earlier this year and is actually already getting shut down as of November 30th next month. So hopefully that doesn't happen to the finals, but just something, my gut just tells me that I don't think that this is the game to sort of come out and blow up with people. And I think that opinion is reinforced by the fact that I quite literally forgot about the game. I forgot that I made a video and played the game back in March. Completely. So I suppose this segues me perfectly into what are the problems with the game in my opinion. I think there's too much downtime between fights sometimes. There isn't much incentive for you to go barrel at the enemy team and try to fight them, especially at the beginning of the game. You seem to either end up being that team that always gets in fights, or you're the team that sort of gets ignored by all the other teams and just silently wins the game, maybe gets into 1 or 2 skirmishes here and there, but just secures a really good lead from the beginning. So I'm not entirely sure how they would go about fixing that. Some people in my Twitch chat while I was playing it suggested perhaps they could increase the player count, and yes, that is something they could definitely do, but I have a worry that it would turn into just a third-party fest where you're in a 2v2, right? You're in a 2v2 with your team, and then you just sort of get third-partied, and, you know, they kill both of those teams, and it's just sort of boring. And another problem that I wanted to bring up with this game, and people are going to comment, oh, it's a beta, but this has to be brought up. The performance of the game is not where I would like it to be. I have a very strong computer, and I'm only pushing like 150, 160 FPS on the lowest settings possible. To put that into perspective, I get the same FPS on Battlefield 2042, and Battlefield 2042 has like, I don't know, 15 times the player count, quite literally. So I just don't think the performance is up to where it should be, especially considering the amount of players in one server at a time, and considering how the game looks. And the last thing I'll address in terms of problems is people are going to bring up the time to kill. I saw a lot of people ask me about it in my Twitch chat, and I think the time to kill is actually fine, believe it or not, because ideally you're going to be team-shotting people, and you can still win 1v1s. You can actually still win 1v2s, actually. So I think people just need to get used to it, and perhaps it's a bit of a skill issue when people mention it. I'm not entirely sure, but I didn't have much of a problem. And I actually kind of prefer this time to kill because it really does heavily reward the better player in the engagement, the player that hits more headshots, and the player that generally has the better aim and positioning. So what do I think about the finals? I don't know. It's a very strange feeling for me to say that. I don't know. Like, on one hand, I had a decent time today. I just don't necessarily know if this game is going to do anything past release, get a bit of release hype. People are going to play it, and then people are going to go, oh, remember the finals? Remember the finals? And then I just think it's going to drop off pretty heavily. That's what my gut tells me about this game. So I'm definitely interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Be sure to comment down below. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out my mouse pads. Link in the description. Use code ENDER for 10% off. If you are a control pad enjoyer, I would say it's a medium control mouse pad with similarities to the Zowie GSR, and of course their rubber bases and their quality printed and all that sort of stuff, so the design will not rub off with wear. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys later.